Seattle with DeFrost Seattle, and we really focus on relationships with this video cast. My name is Margaret Elizabeth Spencer.
And I'm Rafael Rodriguez, and we are here today to talk about families. So family
Bonds.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have a special guest. We have Patrick Baker, who is going to be sharing some information about his connection with his family. We also really welcome you to text your questions below. If you have any comments or questions and want to be asking them live, Raphael will be on his phone trying to answer your questions, and he will actually repeat them here on live. So be sure to comment and add. The first thing we always start out with, you guys, is asking our guests, tell me your experience with the Seattle Freeze.
Seattle Freeze, wow. Well, I've lived here for quite a while, many years, and I've also had the opportunity to travel a lot and live in some other states. And I found it difficult to meet people, especially first dates. First dates are really difficult because a lot of the women here, at least from my perspective, are standoffish. It's almost like you've done something to them before and they're debating whether or not they're going to give you a second chance. I asked somebody out once on a first date, and I typically want to give somebody a hug. And she said, no, I don't like to be touched. And I thought, wow, that was kind of standoffish, and where do we go from here? And, I treated her with respect, and I drove her, or I walked her to her car at the end, and it was okay. I just couldn't give her a handshake or a hug or anything. So I thought that was a little odd. And if somebody wants to meet somebody else, you would think that they would be open to at least minor physical contact, not groping, but, just a minor physical contact and pleasantries, a handshake or a hug.
Yeah, that's just being friendly. And I see what you mean about, friendliness. And have you been to other cities and noticed this?
Oh yeah, I've been to a lot of other cities, and it seems that in other cities it tends to be easier to meet people, or they at least tend to be more friendly and open. They might not want to engage with you long term, but passersby, it's easy to say hello and have a short conversation and get somebody's name, learn a little bit about them, and then move on.
Sure, yeah. Well, you guys, I wanted to let you know a little bit about Patrick Baker. The reason why we decided to have him come on and talk about family bonds is he is the most dedicated man I know to his family. You guys, this man has a father who had a stroke 5 years ago, and every day, or just maybe he's missed maybe like a couple days, but almost every day over these 5 years, you guys, he goes to visit his father, he talks to his father, even though at this point he is not communicating back, he is there with him. And in addition, he is there taking care of his mother on a daily basis. He is there supporting his sisters on an ongoing basis. He is the most supportive friend to me on an ongoing basis. You guys, this guy understands the relationship of families and the bond you have for families. And I know that people who have family far away, such as Raphael, your family is all the way in Brazil?
Yeah, they're all in Brazil, and it's a completely different dynamics. Like when you have family that's living in the same city or family that is living across the world.
Absolutely. So what do you do to try to connect in with your family when they're so far away?
It all comes back to having habits that involve your family. So we have our set time on the weekends that we have our family meeting.
Oh, that's nice. Like a Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. That's cool.
And then every weekend we talk for a couple hours, and then they update me on the family gossip.
The gossip, yeah.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, but you feel connected then.
Exactly.
With your family. Yeah. And you guys, my daughters live out of state. One lives in Washington D.C. Another one lives in San Diego. So you guys, I have to also resort to phone calls once a week and I have that schedule thing because I have to schedule my daughters into my life to make sure we keep connected. But Patrick has the good fortune to have his family members that live all locally. But Patrick, tell me a little bit about what that was like for you to have your father have this stroke, which completely changed your family dynamic, I imagine?
Well, it definitely did change the family dynamic. I remember as soon as I heard that he had a stroke, I told, I believe, my sister on the phone, our lives just all changed. And they did. Our lives all changed. And, I was fortunate enough to come from a family. Dad was in the military, he was in the Navy, And we moved around a lot. And so he always ingrained in us that your family are your best friends. And when we would move to a new place, we only knew each other. So we had a close bond, and every time we moved, people would eventually branch out, but we had that family core that was really important. And I grew up in a Christian family too, which I think also helped keep us closer together. So
that's lovely. I think that's really nice. So you have this strong family unit from all this change, and then when this happened to your father, I mean, how did this change your relationship, and what made you feel like I need to see this man every single day?
Well, I look back at my life and all of the things that my dad provided for me growing up. It was a family of 6. So there were 4 kids in the family. And not only did he, have a job and work hard, but he made sure that we were engaged in extracurricular activities, music, sports, anything else. And he always encouraged us to do as much as we possibly could and learn and grow. He encouraged us to meet people and learn to get along with other people. And so when I look at all that he's given me, that's the very least I could do to pay him back, is to go see him every day. And when it first happened, he was a little more coherent, and even still, he knows who I am. He recognizes me. He doesn't say my name very often, but I know that he knows that I'm there. When he first had a stroke, he was in a wheelchair. His left side was pretty much paralyzed, so he couldn't move. He could eat himself a little bit with his right hand. And but he was in a wheelchair, so he was mobile, and I would try and take him out. For a while, every other week, I had a relationship with a taxi driver with a wheelchair capability of transport, and we would take him out to breakfast or lunch, every couple weeks. And then, as he slowly progressed and got worse, he was confined to the house. Of course, COVID didn't help at all, and that was a really difficult time because we had to try and Zoom. So I provided a tablet to the adult home that he's in, and I had it all set up with my password and everything, and every day I would call, and he could see it. Sometimes he didn't pay very much attention to it, to the tablet, but he knew that we were there. We would get the family on sometimes, and other people would join us in a Zoom call.
So in the midst of the worst part of the pandemic, you could only speak to your father through a tablet. So that was just texting?
No, it was
video call.
Yeah, we did a Skype.
Okay.
Skype call.
Kind of like a Zoom type thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least you had something, but I know so many people had family members, you guys, that were inside adult family home and they couldn't access them. So this must have been a difficult time frame for you.
It was very difficult, and before the COVID event happened, there was a woman who came to his house once a week on Wednesdays, and she would bring her piano and she would play music and sing along, and all of the relatives of the residents there would join in. So that's something that we did regularly as well, and it's just nice for a distraction. And now, he's confined to his bed, and for over a year now, he's been on hospice a couple years, and he basically just stares at the ceiling. We leave a TV on for him in his room, but I don't know how much he really pays attention to it. So he's stuck in a room all day with his own mind, other than when they feed him and clean him and whatnot. So it's, if I can go there for even 20 or 30 minutes a day and help break up the monotony of his day, I wish I could spend more time there, but I try and put myself in that position too. What would you do if you're lying in a bed and you can't move, you can't roll over, you can't feed yourself, you can't do anything, you're totally at the mercy of the caregivers? And what do? You just stare at the ceiling, you try to sleep, you pretend like this isn't happening, because I know his mind still works. I know that he can think and process. He just can't communicate. He can't get it out.
And you guys, how empathetic is this man? I am just blown away by the level of empathy that this man has exhibited. And I think the loyalty to his family, the empathy, to really put yourself in the shoes of somebody else, be it your family member or even a stranger. I think our world is missing this. We're missing empathy. And I love how much empathy that Patrick shows for his father. Whether he's coherent or not, Patrick is there, and he's there for him. And I just think that that's so heartwarming. And that's why I asked you out to be on the show today. I just think that we need to talk more about how can we enhance other people's lives?
Yeah,
Would
no,
you agree?
absolutely. And I mean, that's a beautiful story. Like we went through something similar in my family. My grandfather, he was not in hospice, but he had a series of strokes over the course of about 10 years. And it was very interesting to see how like the entire family came together to give him like the best quality of life that he could, that they could give him like in the final years of his life. So like all my dad's siblings, like they all came together as well. They all live in the same area of the city, but still like they were all present to the end. So
Yeah.
that was very like
That's very heartwarming.
Yes.
Super heartwarming. Do we have any questions from the audience?
not yet.
Okay, be sure to ask your questions, you guys. This is a new thing we're trying. We really want you to be, involved in this conversation of empathy, family bonds. You guys, I had my ex-boyfriend, his father passed while we were dating. And we spent 2 days just watching this man as he was at the end of life. And you guys, there's something that's just so beautiful about a whole room of people surrounding someone as they're passing. And it was, I thought it would be scary, but it actually was extremely beautiful. And I think it's honoring people, honoring life, and honoring humanity. And I think that's what Patrick is doing. I think he's honoring his family. He's honoring what his father has given him. He is being there for his mother, which he knows his father would want that for you to take care of your mom. He is also being there for his sisters. He's super supportive of your sisters as well, right?
Well, like I said, we're a close family, and they're supportive of me as well. And we always get together and celebrate everybody's birthday, and might celebrate a group of birthdays, all the summer birthdays at one time. We celebrate every holiday together, and I really feel blessed. I think it's unique, and it's something you don't see very often in today's society. But I think it's important to acknowledge people, and it extends, at least for me, it extends to my relatives. My dad's sister lives in Fort Collins, Colorado, and I call her once or twice a week just to talk with her, and she asks questions about Dad, and I'll update her. And my mom's sister lives in Las Vegas, and she's struggling with a lot of things, and it makes her day to give her a call and try and make her laugh. And as people go through difficult times, especially after COVID, so many people are struggling emotionally. It's really important to just reach out. It doesn't take long, and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about you," or "Hey, how are you doing? Can I help you with anything?" And I think that also extends into relationships. If you have a commitment to another person, to that level, I think the chance of it succeeding is much greater. I had a friend years ago who said, when you're in a relationship, a lot of people think it's give and take, but his take was, no, it's give and give, and whatever you get out of it is a benefit. But really what you get out of it is the giving to the other person, learning what makes them happy, learning what, touches their heart. And so I think in today's society, a lot of people, a lot of relationships are, hey, you're great as long as you do everything that I want to do.
And then
Right.
it becomes transactional.
Right.
It
Exactly.
doesn't remain like something that's more like relational. It becomes just like as a transaction, and that makes those relationships very, very shallow.
Yes, absolutely.
And when it comes like to family, so this connection that you all have, it's not something that is from now. Like it's I can see that that's something that was built over the decades, like by having family tradition dates in the year that this is our family. We always do this in this specific date.
Yep.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's just family, tradition. And when you have family tradition and you spend time together, you guys, it really does help to strengthen the family bond. One thing I always did was make sure my family, no matter how busy we were, we sat down for dinner every night. Just a simple little thing, sitting down for dinner. making sure that was a thing. And you know, this just takes little things. So I'm so glad that we could have Patrick on today. Thank you, Patrick, for being on our show and sharing. And thank you also, Raphael, for sharing your family stories. And you guys, we hope you continue to watch our episodes. We're here to help to strengthen your relationship with other people. We are also going to be having some fun events that we welcome you to come out and connect with us. We have a Blind Wine Alley here in Woodinville. We're going to be doing a fun event this summer, so look for those events coming up, as well as the Dancing with the First Responders. We're going to be highlighting our first responders. I'm so excited about this event on October 1st, so mark your calendar, save the date, and we will see you next time. Don't forget, you guys, we are going to have a part 2 on Saturday, so don't miss our next episode with Patrick. We're going to be talking about friendship. So see you on Saturday.
Okay, see you.